Howdy peeps, what's up? This has been requested a redonkulous amount. So here it is, Coming Home by Avenged Sevenfold, the delightful solo, special dedication to my little buddy and student, William Peter Seymour, Seymour should I say. We're gonna get through this, buddy. We're gonna get through this. Let's take a look. He didn't. Yes, he did. All right, before we get too excited and learning, we just got to talk about the tuning. This is in C-sharp drop tuning, which is basically drop D down half a step, which goes C-sharp, G-sharp, C-sharp again, F-sharp, A-sharp, D-sharp. So get yourself a tune and we'll get started. All right, guys, let's take a look at the first section. I want to start with a dual bend idea. I'm playing 8 of the second string and 10 of the third. I play them together as a chord, but I want to bend the third string with my ring and my middle. And that general theme is going to follow through the whole section. So start off by playing 8 and 10 with that idea, 10 and 12 with that idea, and then 11 and 13 with that idea on the second and the third string, respectively. So we're going. We want to add a little bit of shaky vibrato business on the third. That is also welcome. We're going to do a very similar idea now. We're going to play 10 and 12 together, 11 and 13 together, and then 13 and 15 together for the second group. Back to back. We'll do a very similar idea now. This one has a fourth bend in it. So I'm going to play 11 and 13, 13 and 15, 15 and 17, and then end on 18 and 20. So we should have 2 groups of 3 bends, and then on the third group have 4 bends. So all together. At the end of that last chunk, I want to do another one of those bends, but when I get to the top of it, I'm going to do 3 groups of 8 semi-quavers or 16th notes. So I'm going to have 24 altogether. What do the if I go? What do the if I go? What do the if I go? Bleh, hard to say, but anyway, you get the idea. So after we've done those last 4 bends, those quick 3 groups of 8, and then I work up this D minor pentatonic run, well, D minor from standard tuning. Basically just hammer-ons working up that pentatonic. Let's take it slowly. I'm going to start with a hammer from 10 to 12 on the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string. Exactly the same on all of them. And then just end on 10 of the second. We'll lead into that bend that follows that at the start of the second section. Alright, let's go from the start of the section relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again at a gentleman's pace with some tabs. Here we go. One more time, some tabs. Okay, let's have a look at the second section. I'm going to do 2 bends on 13 of the second string. After the second bend, I'm going to bring it down and pull off to the 10. Then I'm going to hit that sort of accidental flat 5 note on 13 of the third. Okay, at the end of that, I'm going to do 2 bends on 12 of the third, and then vibrato the second bend. Okay, hopefully that's making sense. At the end of that, I work into this. So I slide in. Let's go through that slowly. So I slide into 10 of the second string, and I'm going to do this next little phrase twice. I'm going to play 13 of the first string and 10 of the second string twice. So I go 13, 10, 10, and I do the same idea from 12 of the first string. I'm going to repeat that idea twice. Let's do it with the slide in now. Hopefully that's all making sense. Let's try the whole thing from the start. Okay, then I work into this. I'm going to play 13 of the first string, 10 of the second, 13 of the first, and then slide that over to 15. So, then I'm going to go 12, 13, 12, and then 13 is a bend on the first string. At the end of that, I'm just working down what would be in standard tuning a C major swept arpeggio. So all I'm doing there is from the 5th string, I'm playing 15, then 14 of the 4th, 12 of the 3rd, and I'm playing 13 of the 2nd, and I'm doing a hammer-on into a pull-off 12, 15, 12 on the 1st string. And then we'll lead into the start of the 3rd section. So that's pretty much all of the 2nd section. Let's do it relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower with some taps. One more time with some taps. Okay, let's take a look at the 3rd section. It's pretty redonk, so be very patient with this one. We're going to start with a bend on 13 of the 2nd string. I'm going to bring that back, sort of sliding back to 8 of the 2nd string. I bend in and out with a quick deviation and then go back up again. All together. A bit of toot helps that. Now the next chunk, that little lick there, I want to do a 6-note phrase. We'll learn that, and then we're just going to repeat that 5 times. So that little phrase that we're doing is a pull off from 13 to 10 on the 1st string, and then I'm hammering 12, 13, then pulling off 12, 10. 12, 13, 12, 10. So all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I want to repeat that idea 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the end of that, I'm going to add in 2 more notes. I'm just going to quickly hammer back to the 13 and pull off to the 10. 2, 3, 4, 5. And that extra hammer on pull off idea. Now what I want to do is start working through this tapped pentatonic. This is pretty cool, but it is a little bit redonk. Please be very patient with it. We're going to start off with a tap on 17 of the 1st string. I'm going to slide to 18 and then slide back to 17. Then I pull off to 13 to 10, which is just working down the normal box shape of what would be a D minor pentatonic. Hopefully that's making sense. And then I've got a hammer on from nowhere to 13 of the 2nd string. After I've done that hammer on from nowhere, I'm going to do a tap on the 17 of the 2nd string. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Slide to 18, slide back, and then pull off the same note. This time my hammer on from nowhere is going to 12 of the 3rd. If you don't know what a hammer on from nowhere is, it's just when you're hammering to a string that isn't the one you're on. Check out Greg Howie, he talks about it. Anyway, so let's do what we've got thus far. Now the next one isn't so easy. Instead of doing slides, we have to get multiple finger taps involved. I'm using my pointer and my ring here. So I'm going to go 17, 19, 17 is my tap. The difficult thing about this, it's kind of difficult to do them back to back, so you kind of got to pull off with your tap if that makes sense. So I'm I'm pulling my 19 up. After that, I'm pulling off back to my left hand now, and I'm going to play 12, 10, 12. I'm going to do exactly the same idea, but I'm going to go 14, 17, 14 on my tap hand, and then I'm going to pull off to the same left hand movement. Hopefully that's making sense. And then I want to add this in. This is a quick 2 groups of 4. I'm going to tap 14 and pull off 12, 10, back to 12 as a hammer. And then the same left hand idea, but I'll be tapping 17. Alright, let's go from the slidey tap idea and then we'll finish this whole section off. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I want to do 4 quick groups of 3 now. I'm going to tap 19 of the 3rd string and then hammer 10, 12. I'm going to do the same thing from 14. And then the same idea from 22 and 17. So it's just the 4 quick groups. I think that's very, very cool. And then we work into this. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's do this one a little bit slower. It's almost got a bit of a beaded vibe. I don't know if anyone else hears that, but I think it's very, very cool. Anyway, I'm tapping 20 and pulling off 17, 13 twice on the 1st string. Hammer on from nowhere, and I do the same thing on the 2nd string. And I'm doing a hammer on from nowhere to 17 of the 3rd. So back to back. And then I do a pretty similar idea. I'm going to tap, this time, 19 on my right hand. On the 3rd string, I'm tapping 19 and then pulling off 17, 14 twice. Okay, now my hammer on from nowhere does a little bit more this time. I'm going to play 17, 15, 17. And I tap 19 and then pull off back to the 15. At the end of that, I do a delicious bend on 17 of the 3rd. So let's go through this last tap idea and then we'll try and put this mammoth section together. Alright, let's go from the bend from 13 at the start of the section from the 2nd string. One more time, even slower with some taps. At the 4th section, I'm going to work through some pretty pleasant arpeggios from, I guess, sort of a B flatty idea. I'm going to start off by playing 13 of the 5th, 15 of the 4th, and 17 of the 3rd. Nice sus2 there, and then just a straight power chord, 13 on the 4th of the 5th, 15 of the 4th, and 15 of the 3rd. I go to the major 7, so it's got the same power chord top. I'm just changing the 3rd note, so I'm playing 13, 15, and then 14 on the 3rd string. I go back to the 2nd shape, which was 13, 15, 15. And then I go back to the sus2 shape we had, which is 13, 15, 17. This time I'm going to add a 4th note though. So I'm going to return to the 4th string. So I'm going to play 13, 15, 17, and then return to that 15 of the 4th. Mouthful, but anyway, we'll move on and then it goes into this. This is a very similar idea. I'm going to start off with that sus2 shape again, except I'm going to play 15 of the 5th, 17 of the 4th, and 19 of the 3rd. I just changed the top note now, so I'm going to play 15, 17, 17. I'm going to repeat those notes that I had on the 4th string, which was 17, 17 on the 4th and 17 on the 3rd. I repeat both of them. Now if you want to change from that formation to get ready for the next bit, I jump to the pointer when I remember to. So to work into this, which is the same 3 notes twice. I'm playing 18, 17 on the 2nd string and then jumping to 17 of the 3rd. At the end of that, I'm doing a bend on 18 of the second and giving it some gentlemanly vibrato on the second. So it's just a bend and a vibrato. So bring it back down. So we'll go. Alright, let's try and do what we've got thus far relatively slow, then we'll deal with that redonk run at the end. Okay, let's have a look at this last chunk. There's a bit of legato and a bit of shredding here. We're going to start from 12th of the 6th. Keep in mind we're in drop tuning now, so some of this might look a bit strange, but it does sound good due to the tuning. So I want to go 12, 14, 15 is a hammer on the 6th string. I'm going to do a mini economy pick there. I'm going to do 12 of the 5th and then jump down to 12 of the 4th and hammer 12, 14, 15 again. Hopefully that's making sense. And then I want to jump into what would be, I guess, a D minor kind of shape. I want to play 14 of the 3rd and 15 of the 2nd and then 13 of the 1st string. So we can sweep through that. Now what I want to do is play a couple of bluesy notes and then go straight up a D minor. So I'm going to go 17, 16, 15, 13 on the 1st string and then just sweep back up to the top of that minor arpeggio. So after this, I'm going to play 15 of the 2nd, 14 of the 3rd, 15 of the 4th, and then 17 of the 5th. So we go. Alright, let's look at what we've got thus far. There's a little bit more to it. Okay, so when I finish that, I want to work my way back up the arpeggio and do that same bluesy descent. Okay, I'm going to work my way up the arpeggio again, but I'm going to stop on the 4th string. Hopefully that's making sense. And then add a sort of a sexy bend on 17 of the 3rd. So all together that last run. Just mixing in those sweeps with those moments of shred. Let's take it back to those arpeggios we had at the start and we'll put it all together. Silence and taps. Alright guys, the 5th section is going to start very, very similarly to the 4th with the arpeggios we deal with. For instance, this part is identical. So when we shuffle over, the next bit's kind of similar. I'm going to have 15, 17, 19 at the start, and then the 15, 17, 17. So that's all the same, but then I work into this. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 17 of the 4th and 3rd, and then 18 of the 2nd string. Then a similar idea, 17 of the 4th and 3rd, but then I play 20 of the 2nd string. So we're going to go. At the end of that, I play the same 2 notes twice. I'm playing 17 of the 2nd, 17 of the 3rd, and 20 of the 2nd. I do that twice. At the end of that, I've got a big bend on 20 of the 1st string, and I want to give that some nice angry vibrato with my whammy, if you have one. Okay, after that we work into a pretty delicious pentatonic run, but let's do it. We've got one more time, then we'll move on. Okay, hopefully that's all making sense. Let's have a look at the next chunk. I'm going to do a couple of pull-offs around a D minor pentatonic and then have a couple of outside notes which are still within the pentatonic. It's just interesting that he doesn't play them on the usual shape. It kind of spans out a little bit, which is interesting and delicious. I want to think of this as a couple of groups of 3 notes at a time. The first 3 note group, I'm going to do a pull-off from 12 to 10 on the 4th and then jump to 12 for the 5th. I'm going to do the next 3 note group twice. I'm going to pluck 15 of the 4th string and pull off 12, 10 and do it again. The way that it works as well is, even though it's played quite quickly, the pull-offs allow you to do most of this lick, if not all of it, with all down picks, which I think is a little bit easier to handle. Okay, so we've got 3 notes, 3 groups of 3 notes. I'm going to jump to the 3rd string now and do a pull off from 12 to 10 and jump to 12 for the 4th. I'm going to do a pull off now from 13 to 10 on the 3rd and then jump to 12 for the 4th. So nearly the same thing twice, just a high note at the start. So now we have 3 groups of 5. 5 groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've got 3 more groups to deal with. We're still working around the pentatonic. I want to do a pull off from 13 to 12, 13 to 10 on the 2nd string. I'm getting all muddled in my old age. 13 to 10 on the 2nd string and 12 for the 3rd. I jump to 13 to the 1st string, pull off to 10, and then play 13 of the 2nd string. So we're going to go back to back, those ideas. We're going to unlock our inner dime bag Daryl and get a big stretch happening here. I want to pull off from 15 to 10, and then play 13 of the 2nd string. So there's 3 new chunks. Let's join them all together. Hopefully that's all making sense. Let's go through the last little run and then we'll put the arpeggios, pentatonic, and the last chunk together and then do it at a nice sexy pace with some tabs. So what I'm going to do here, just to slide in, 15 is good enough, but it doesn't really matter where you come from. We just want to end on 17. After that, I'm going to work through this little run. I'm going to play 15, 17, 18, and then do a position shift to 20. And that was all on the 2nd string. At the end of that, I want to play 17, 18, and then bend 20 on the 1st string. Hopefully that's making sense. So let's try and do it from the start of the section with the arpeggios, the pentatonic run, and then that last little run I showed you. One more time, some tabs. Okay, let's have a look at the 6th section. There's only 7, so we're nearly there, guys. I want to start from 15 to the 2nd string. I'm going to hit that 15 twice and then play 17, 18. When I hit the 18 though, I want to roll back 17, 15 as a pull off. Okay, and then I'm going to do a similar thing. I'm going to play 2 17s, and then play 18, and then 20, but there's no pull off here. So from the start, I work into this phrase. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 15, 18, 17, 18. So it's basically the same thing twice. And then I want to go back to the 15th again, and I'm going to play 18, 17, 18 again. So all together. So it's nearly the same thing 3 times, isn't it? Ending on the 18, and I do the same thing, but I'm just going to start from 13. So I'm going to play 13, 18, 17, 18, and then do that idea, pretty much the same thing 3 times with slightly different timing. Let's try and do the whole thing from the start thus far. Okay, then we repeat the whole idea again, but the second time when it ends here, we're going to drag that idea back. I'm going to play 11, 11, 15, 13, 15 on the 2nd string, and I'm going to give that the same approach that we had in the last one. So pretty much the same 4 notes 3 times. Ending on the 15. Now the next bit is a little bit strange. It's not quite the same both times. I'm going to slide into 20 of the 2nd string and then hit it again when I get there. And then I'm going to play 18, 20, and then 15 at the end of that. Okay, at the end of that, I'm going to play 20, 18, 20, and then back to 15 again. I'm going to end that phrase by playing 20, 18, 20 again. So let's try and do all of the new section, or all of the new part that we just did. Okay, there's two more little chunks to this, and then there's a big diminished sweep. I'm going to work through another sort of 4-note pattern 3 times. I want to start from 12 of the third, and then play 15, 13, 15 on the second string. We're going to give it the same pulse and rhythm that we gave the other parts. Hopefully that's making sense. And then the next bit is a little bit shorter before the diminished run. I'm going to play 10, 15, 14, 15 on the second string, and then resolve that to 10. So there's 5 notes there, and then it'll work down the diminished run. So let's go from the newest chunks of this. We'll add the diminished run, and then we'll try the whole section. Hopefully that's making sense. I've got a leading note from 9 of the first string, and then I want to do a pull off from 12 to 9. This is fully diminished, and then I'm playing 11 of the second, and then pulling off 12, 9 on the third, and then I'm going to play 11 of the fourth, and then pull off 13 to 10 on the fifth. Hopefully that's making sense. I slide it back 3 frets to 7, and then hammer forward, and basically it's going to mirror the other shape. We're just going to be playing it as an ascent rather than a descent. So I'm going to hammer from 7 to 10, and I'm going to play 8 of the fourth, and then a hammer on from 6 to 9 on the third. So we're going to go. At the end of that, I'm going to play 8 of the second string, and hammer 6, 9 to finish. Hopefully that's making sense. Alright, let's try and do the whole section from the start. Remembering that first little chunk we do twice. Then the variations. One more time, some tabs. Alright, let's take a look at the final section. I want to start off with a bend on 13 of the second string. I bring it back down and do a triplet at the bottom. After that triplet, I want to hit the 13 again, and then pull off and work down a minor arpeggio. So I'm going to pull off 13 to 10 on the second string, then play 10 of the third, and then I'm going to play 12 of the fourth and fifth. So I actually prefer to use my middle. It doesn't matter what you use. At the end of that, I've got this kind of bendy rock chord. I'm playing 10 of the third and the second string. At the end of that, I'm playing 12 to 10 as a pull off on the fourth string, and then hitting the 12 again, giving it some sass. So let's have a look at what we got from the start of the section. Hopefully that's making sense. I've got 2 leading notes into the start of the next section, next little chunk rather. I'm playing 6, 8 on the second string, and then I want to do a bend on 8, and then pull off to 6, and then do a pull off from 7 to 5. I'm going to do that little idea twice. Now it is possible to play that over in that section as well. I just found that the last bend tap was easier to do on the G string, but if you guys want to mess around with moving into the other position, you are more than welcome. So here we go. At the end of that, I've got 2 bends on 8 of the second string. Then I do the third bend, as a dual bend, so I'm playing 5 of the first on that last bend. I bring the bend down and then pull off to 6. At the end of that, I want to play 7 of the third, 6 of the second, and 7 of the third. Now, after I've held that 7 for long enough, I'm going to bend it up a tone and a half. So the the fret we're trying to mimic is the 10th fret on the third. It's a pretty long bend. At the end of that, I want to tap 14 whilst we're still holding that tone and a half bend. If you can, give it a tiny bit of vibrato with your tapping hand. Let's try and put the whole section together from the 13 bends at the start, and we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the redonk solo from Coming Home by Avenged Sevenfold. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.